What is a virtual event? That glorified webinar that you attended called a summit that you did not learn anything from, that it was only fluff, or a pitch fest, that's not a virtual event. Especially if it's a glorified webinar. What is a glorified webinar, you might ask? Well, and why am I qualified to talk about this with you? Hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Anna Andrea. I am the Irresistible Experience Creator. I support experts and coaches that are course creators and have memberships and are very clear that they are building a movement, that they want to leave a legacy. If that's you, then I'm here to help you out in creating irresistible experiences for your communities so that they become raving fans and loyal to your brand and your products or your services. I am a trained event planner from Universidad de Palermo. I graduated in 2014, so that was 11 years ago. Almost 11 years ago because I graduated in July. I have been producing in-person events since 2008 because I started the career in 2008. Since 2008, got to do 2 events on the first semester because I switched careers. I decided I wanted to be an event producer because I love creating experiences for you to have fun. That is my number one goal. And then I realized that it's a lot of chaos for a lot of people. So here is what an event is. An event is an experience, and according to the dictionary, it's a thing that happens, especially one of importance, or it's a planned public or social occasion. Also, it can be a planned business occasion. It happens in a period of time, and the virtual event has to be considered something that ends and only happens every certain amount of time. If it's evergreen, it's a webinar. I know some people are going to disagree with me because, oh my God, I have my summit evergreen. I do too. But now it's not a summit. It's a course. It's a program because I have my speakers teach you something that then adds up and you get a full result, an outcome, because an event has an outcome. So for example, my Build Your Own Virtual Stage Summit was in 2021, I think. Yeah, because 2020 I did chatbots for coaches. So when I produced Build Your Own Virtual event, the summit, it was a pre-recorded event, but I sent it live in a certain period. So I let people see it for 24 hours and then I took it off. Okay? Then after the summit ended, I put a price to it because this was free. If you wanted to have the replays, you had to pay for it, of course. But also I gave people other things in the bundle so that they would upgrade and not the replays. But that's another video for another day. Okay? Check my channel, subscribe, because I'm going to be breaking down the chaos of events in general and how you can adapt an in-person event into a virtual experience and how that you can create a fun, irresistible experience with your virtual event, even if you're miles apart from everybody in your audience. Energy travels. I can feel your energy. You can feel my energy if we're in a digital room or in an in-person room. Energy doesn't have a limit. We do. So for a virtual event to be a virtual event, in my opinion, it has to start and end at a certain period of time. And then it changes the way people enroll to it. So from a free summit, then I have a paid summit experience, but it's the replays. So that's not technically a virtual event anymore. That was a virtual event that happened. Same with in-person events. If they're recording the sessions, because most record their sessions now when you go to in-person events, you could buy the replays. I think it should be included in the ticket. Wink, wink. That's a very good tip. So a virtual event cannot be something like a webinar, even though a lot of people call it a virtual event. A lot of my colleagues say it's a virtual event. In my professional opinion, it is not. because a webinar, you can evergreen it. Because if you're using the perfect webinar process, and if you're not, you're missing a lot of money, because that dude, I don't like his software, but his books, genius. So, hacking funnels is a thing we do. So, a virtual event, in my opinion, it's also not a podcast. That's maybe a tiny event that happens once when it's recorded. If you do it live, then it can be an event. But if it's not in a certain period of time, either live or you just post it for a little while. If you are creating a container or a program, that's different. That's not a virtual event, that's a program. We entered a container. Oh, well, it's a type of event if you do it with a limited time. So that's my criteria. If it's a limited time for one type of experience, then it can be considered an event. Then when it turns into evergreen and replays, in my head, in my categories, it becomes a course, a program, replay package, so that you can learn a topic if the summit is worth it. So what is a virtual event? A virtual event is something that you do in a period of time. Let's summarize. It has an outcome, and virtual event is when it's online, when it's live on Zoom, when it's streamed live to social media or streamed live to a private website or a private community. And it has to also have an outcome. It's very important, because if there's no outcome, you don't know what happened. So in social events, I'll give you an example. With social events, a wedding has a outcome. The people get married in the event. A birthday party, the outcome is celebration for the birthday person. Do you see what I'm getting at? With the events that are business related, that can be online, because social events, I don't recommend them doing it virtually. Like, unless some people can't go, you can have a stream so somebody can come and talk to them and be with them or whatever. Like, you can make it happen, like you can mix and make it a hybrid, but social events are in person. Hands down, 100%. For business, then we have the virtual aspect of things. And if you make it like a Microsoft Team meeting, if your audience are people who have a 9-to-5, a job, then you cannot make it boring. You cannot make that virtual event something that is fluff, so that doesn't have an outcome, because then it's not considered a professional event. That's how it is. If people didn't learn squat-a-doodle, they did not get an outcome when it comes to a virtual event. Now, also, there's another criteria on the outcome. It's not just the learning. That's very important, because that is a very, how do you say this? My English is running away from me. And I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, about the outcomes. I just remembered. So the outcomes, right? It can be something that is learning, but because that's important, that's what brings people together, right? We're all going to learn about AI. We're all going to learn about crochet. We're all going to learn about design. We're all going to learn something. It brings people together. Learning brings people together, especially when it comes to business. Or there's a purpose and an outcome, a promise. This is why I talk about building an event promise and keeping that promise. Keeping that promise no matter what happens, because the show must always go on. Like, what do you mean you're going to cancel it because something went wrong? That's not happening. And I went on a tangent. So, a virtual event also can be called a challenge if it's in a period of time and you're going to like make it challenging. So like lose weight challenge are the most popular. Drink water every day. Like one of my clients is doing a 30-day water challenge in her membership. I'm going to sip a little. And it could also be like a boot camp style. It could be a program that you're launching live inside of that challenge. So you're doing a container and you're doing it in a period of time, and you have interactive live experiences. But this is my criteria, okay? This is just What I think personally that a virtual event is a challenge. It could be a summit, so a conference that has an outcome. Remember, always an outcome. A conference of different speakers, or it could be an enrollment event for your program or your membership. And those types of enrollment events, you don't bring too many speakers in. You can bring 2 or 3, but that's it. Most of the content is you, because you're selling them a program. You're enrolling them into a program, a container, a membership, mastermind. Don't call it a mastermind though, because masterminds are just to chit chat and mastermind. Like, go read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and he talks about masterminds and how it is to mastermind. So what does mastermind mean? I know that repeating the word doesn't give you the definition. Sorry. A mastermind is when we come different minds and we master a topic. We master something that we want help with. We bounce ideas. But a mastermind is not a workshop where we learn and we do something. That's not a mastermind, in my opinion. Workshops, that's on a day, getting work done. So it's a learning plus co-working type experience when people work with you and you do things for them while they're doing some things, and then you bring things together. Also, it could be a conference where you have a bunch of speakers that come and give out trainings and speeches that have an outcome for people, and they add up. Also, a virtual event is a 3-day live. Oh, and the summits can be live or they can be pre-recorded with live experiences like co-working and networking and masterminding and learning, talking with the speakers and having a panel with Q&A for the speakers, getting access to pick their brains, right? And here's my thing. Those events can make you a lot of money, right? They can make you a lot of profit. All of these events, if you create them with so much care and take on every detail. Sometimes you don't need to do every detail though. I know it's contradicting, but hear me out. 2 things can be total opposite and be right at the same time. And then you're gonna say, what are you talking about? Trust me, if you believe that, you're part of my people. 2 opposites can be 100% true, and both can be right at the same time. Yes. Okay, so that is what is a virtual event. There are different types of ways that you can give that virtual event, make that experience. So I'll talk about that more in depth in another video. This is just so I give you the rundown of what is a virtual event. And I'm sorry that I ramble a lot, but that's what it is when I start talking about my favorite topic, okay? So anyways, I will talk to you later. I'll see you in the next one. Comment, like, subscribe. I also do videos on technology and how you can use technology. My next video actually is how to set up your tech. So watch that as well. How to show up on camera like a freaking pro. That's the next video on this playlist, because I know that a lot of tech is overwhelming. So I will break it down for you. The technology and the hardware is the first video, and then I'm going to make another one in the playlist that's about the software. So I will see you in the next one. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.